I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us for this special COVID-19 update. We are honored to be joined by State Senator Ann Ress from District 45. Ann, thank you for joining us once again. How are you today?
I'm very fine. Thank you for inviting me to be on.
And thank you for taking a few moments. We've caught you on a busy day here, the Friday before the end of the session. So let's talk a little bit about the end of session. What does it feel like? What does it look like this year, especially with all that's going on with COVID-19?
Well, I think that there certainly is a sense of urgency for us to come to agreements with the legislature and the governor. However, this end of session doesn't feel too different than some other end of sessions where it seems that the negotiations go on until the very last minute before decisions are made and bills are brought to the floor. I do think that we are concentrating, all of us, on getting a public works bill, a bonding bill. We know that those construction projects are the ones that are going to get Minnesotans out in the sunshine working on roads and bridges and university buildings and so forth. And so that's an important part of Minnesota's economy, that we take care of the physical assets that the state has. So it's too bad that there's still this rush, and perhaps some of the things will not get done immediately, but I think it behooves us to be careful, to be deliberate, and not to do anything in a rush just to say that we got finished on time.
Senator, let me ask you a little bit about the activity that happened this week from the governor of turning the dial a little bit. Tell us what you have been telling your constituents about that, and maybe questions that you received about that.
Well, I'm very pleased that the governor has been listening to the health experts. He's been listening to businesses, giving their safely open programs to deed and their opening, and more will be opening June 1st. Restaurants still aren't opened, and nor are nail salons and beauty salons, but other retailers. There has been a lot of concern about small retailers not being open while the big box ones are. Well, that's now changing, and I believe that the governor has been very wise in dialing that up, if you will. And he's doing it slowly. I hope he will also shortly include summer sports for youth, because they tend to be among the least affected by COVID-19. And I think they have so much pent-up energy that it really would be great if they could be involved in outside sports. The other big concern is that I've been hearing this week is that there is still a restriction on public groups of more than 10 people. Right. And that's a big concern for our churches and places of worship. And I'm hoping that there can be plans submitted that allows churches to practice social distancing and still welcome their congregations into their churches, and not only participate in the virtual services, which many are doing and doing quite well, but it doesn't take the place of being there in person.
Agreed. Let's hop back to small businesses for a second, as far as guidelines for the businesses opening, and also some update information related to loans and some of the SBA information. What can you tell us about that? And I know you've been including that on some of the updates that you send out to constituents. Right. People can see the email that you can find that information on. What can you tell us about small businesses guidelines and the loan situation?
Well, we had hoped that that the small businesses would be able to access the loans from the federal government that would allow them to up, keep their payroll up, and so forth. And we were finding that really small businesses, the ones that are in the malls and so forth, the strip malls or the single building businesses, were kind of getting shut out of that money, and it was going to larger businesses. And now some of them are hearing about their loans, but they are much smaller, like $12,000 when they were eligible for $120,000. And that has been that's been met with consternation at the federal government, and we need to have better communication to the states and then to our business people and our constituents. And we're trying to provide the updated information on our COVID updates. We're up to number 40 today.
Hard to believe.
We're going to continue those through the summer because the pandemic is going to go on through the summer. So we hope that we're providing a service of information to constituents, small businesses, people that want to, go to church and play outside with friends and so forth. And I think that's coming, but I appreciate the governor's caution.
One final note that was in your updates this week relates to taxes and tax returns. Give us a quick note about tax returns and what the time frame is and what people should be thinking at this point if they haven't filed already.
Right. If you haven't filed and you know that you're going to get a refund, you should file right now so that you can use those dollars. You probably would get the refund within a couple of weeks, and you can use those dollars to help your household maintain stability. If you need to wait until July 15th, then you're encouraged to do so that you can get everything in order to file on time with that extension, and you will not be charged any penalties or late fees.
Very good. Senator Rest, we thank you again for your time, especially on this busy Friday before the end of the session. Thank you for being with us. Again, email address at the bottom of the screen if you're interested in getting in on Senator Rest's updates. Thank you very much, Senator. We hope to talk to you again soon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.